Hi everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is a Star Wars TBR video. So in, gosh, when was it? The end of 2015 and for most of 2016, which was the year and the year after The Force Awakens came out, at least half of my reading was Star Wars books. But now I've kind of drifted a little bit away from that and haven't been reading any Star Wars books, but I've still been buying them. So in an attempt to bring my Star Wars TBR like down to a more manageable level, for the rest of this year and for next year, I'm setting myself a Star Wars TBR takedown challenge. I did a TBR takedown, no, actually I think it was a CBR takedown, like currently being read takedown video, ages and ages ago. To tackle the books that I was currently reading. And I have tackled those currently. So now we're going to make a start on one very small part of my actual TBR. So I have a list of 20 books, which is actually most of my Star Wars TBR, if I'm not mistaken. And hopefully by the end of next year, by the time that episode 9 comes out, I will have read all of these and then some. So 20 books is like 6 weeks reading for me. So hopefully maybe by the time they do the Journey to episode 9 books, I will be able to read them because I'll be caught up. That's the pipe dream. I don't quite know if I'm going to actually make it, but we're gonna try. So the first 5 books on my TBR are actually books that I have as ebooks, and they're all comic volumes. So I've got the Chewbacca limited series comic, I've got the Obi-Wan and Anakin limited series comic, the Captain Phasma limited series comic, Dr. Aphra volume 1, and Screaming Citadel, which was partly a standalone series and partly ties into the ongoing Star Wars series, as well as Dr. Aphra and probably the Darth Vader one as well. So those are the 5 comics that are on the list, and the rest are ones that I have as actual physical books. So one of them is the Solo: A Star Wars Story official guide. Basically just a visual dictionary, just some information about the characters and the places and the things that happened in Solo, which I loved, by the way. It was great. I also have the Rogue One Ultimate Visual Guide. I also have the Last Jedi Visual Dictionary, as well as the Last Jedi Incredible Cross Sections. And then the Star Wars novels that I have to read, which are very loosely in chronological order, are Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston, which I can't believe I still haven't read this because Ahsoka is my favourite. I'm just terrible, I guess. Catalyst, a Rogue One novel by James Luceno. Beware the Power of the Dark Side by Tom Engelberger. This is basically like a retelling of episode 6. I've read the other 2 in this series and they were actually really, really amazing. The first one is by Alexandra Bracken, if that makes you more likely to actually read it. Even though I've seen those movies a bunch of times, each of the retellings kind of brought something new and was told in such a way that it made everything fresh. And even though I knew what was going to happen, it felt like I didn't. So I think that's a big achievement, and hopefully this lives up to its predecessors. I also have the first 2 books in the Join the Resistance series by Ben Acker and Ben Blacker. So the first one is just called Join the Resistance, and then the second one is called Escape from Vodran. Apparently a certain thing happens in this series that also is shown in the Poe Dameron comic, but they contradict each other. So it will be interesting to see if like what I've heard is actually true. And if it is, then Charles Soule needs to read some more Star Wars media than he does, because he keeps getting things wrong in the Poe Dameron comic and it annoys me more than a little bit. The next book that I have is the Canto Byte Anthology by Saladin Ahmed, Ray Carson, Mira Grant, or Sean Ann Maguire, and John Jackson Miller. Then I have a replica journal. This is called Bomber Command. It's the journal of Paige Tico, who we unfortunately didn't get to see much of in The Last Jedi, but, you know, I appreciate that her character was there anyway, and hopefully we'll be able to find out a little more about her in this one. And then I have Cobalt Squadron by Elizabeth Wein. This is also about Paige Tico, also Rose Tico. And then I have another replica journal. This one is Rose's replica journal. This takes you through the events of the movie from her perspective, I think. So that will be really cool. And then I just have the 2 Last Jedi novelizations, the junior novelization and the adult one. So, also on this list, if I can actually ever get a copy, will be the 2 novelizations of Solo, so the junior one and the adult one. I'm used to buying them at Big W, but our Big W closed down a few months ago, and they're not up on the website, so I don't know what's happening with that, and it keeps being out of stock in at Booktopia, so who knows. But yeah, that's my Star Wars TBR goals. It's a little bit, feels a little bit overwhelming at the moment, but once I actually start reading, I think I'll be fine. If I can just incorporate it into my monthly TBRs, I think I'll do okay. So, wish me luck, and expect some more Star Wars content very soon. That's all I have for you for this video. Feel free to leave me a comment if you've read any of these, or you want to read any of these, or you found out about a book you never knew existed. I certainly didn't know that this book existed until I was on Amazon looking for Bomber Command, and it popped up in the things people also buy, and I was like, I'm so out of the loop. This is what happens when I don't read Star Wars books. I don't find out about the new ones either, so it's just a lose-lose, really. Anyway, feel free to leave me a comment about anything Star Wars. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.